Customer service is such a big part of any business, whether you're a small business, big business, retail business, service-based business. Customer service is like one of those crucial elements we need to get right. So that's why I've got like the queen of customer service on the podcast today. Listen in, there is some gold in this episode. Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small,
Hey there, my gorgeous listener. Welcome to episode 68 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, for lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices out there, and I sincerely appreciate you making me one of them. If you're a first-time listener, then hey, super welcome to you. I'm so pleased to have you here. I am the host, Jen Donovan, and it's my job via this podcast and social media and just about everywhere else that I hang out to make your business life simpler. Because business can be lonely, it can be hard, it can be complicated, and let's face it, it's rarely easy, but it definitely should be simple, or at least simpler. So that's my commitment to you on the so-named Small Business Made Simple podcast. One way I can, of course, make your life a little bit simpler is by having my group, Like-Minded Business Owners, on Facebook. It's kind of like that one-stop shop for asking questions and getting answers and really sharing your business journey with my community as well. If you've joined, then head over there. I'd love to hear from you again. If you haven't, then simply go to Facebook and search Like-Minded Business Owners, or of course, you can have a look at the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/68. On this episode, as I mentioned, I have a very special guest, an amazing lady and the queen of customer service in Australia, Cate Schreck from Lightbulb Training Solutions. Cate is the director of Lightbulb Training Solutions and is known for designing and delivering workplace training programs that educate and motivate staff to work together in harmony and provide consistently excellent customer service. Cate is passionate about sharing the skills that create harmonious workplaces and delight your customers. Cate and I have spoken together on stage a couple of times at a few events, and we had actually planned to do another event together before COVID hit. So hopefully we'll get to meet face to face again really soon and have that event get off the ground. But I just love her energy and I love her passion for customer service. I personally am so passionate about customer service, and it was a real priority for me, especially in my retail business where you're just on the front line every single day. I must admit, I did have a bit of a dream team when it come to my team I had in my retail business, but I know that that's not the case for everybody. So I asked Cate to come on and have a chat to us about what good customer service looks like and how we can improve our customer service on the front line and benefit everybody. Our conversation is insightful. You will hear Cate's passion, and there's also a bit of a laugh, and you'll know what I mean about halfway through on the episode where I do something I've never actually done before on a podcast. So I'm very lucky that Cate is so forgiving. So listen in and get your customer service boots strapping with Cate Schreck. Cate, I'm really excited to have you on the podcast today. I haven't had anyone on the podcast so far to talk about customer service, and you are definitely the lady to come on and talk about customer service. But for those people that perhaps don't know Cate Schreck or what you do, could you please just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for having me on. I've been really looking forward to having a chat and letting people in on a few secrets about customer service. You'll have to excuse my croaky voice. There we go. So my name is Cate Schreck. I am the director of two businesses. One is called Lightbulb Training Solutions and the other one is called Just for Schools. Both businesses are workplace training providers and we specialise in customer service and teamwork training. So there is myself and a team of trainers that we all go out and share the gold about what it takes to create a team that works together in harmony and provides great service. So the reason I have two businesses is that schools in themselves have a whole heap of different language, a whole heap of different positions, all different types of people needing different things that they just don't speak the same language as businesses. So Just for Schools is a business that provides group training for non-teaching staff in schools, whereas Lightbulb Training Solutions provides group training for businesses. And I personally am your trainer for your frontline team. And the frontline team in schools and in businesses are the people that directly communicate with your customers. And that can be direct, being face-to-face or over the telephone. So workplace training specialising in teamwork and customer service.
Beautiful. And I guess for my audience that's listening, a lot of them will be those frontline people. A lot of them will, some of them will have teams, most certainly, but a lot of the small business owners are on the front line every day dealing with those customers.
Yeah, and it is, you know, I use the term frontline and some people get a little bit confused and they're like, well, who is the frontline? So I strip it away from, don't think of it as just the admin or reception desk. Don't think of it as just the person that answers the phone. Think of it as anybody in your business that has direct contact. And if you're a small business, solopreneur, solo trader, that's you. So understanding just how important your communication skills are. And when you're talking on the phone, when you're doing face-to-face, which now, of course, we can talk about face-to-face being Skype and Zoom and all these other face-to-face tech that we have in place. That's the thing that we work on, is helping you with what I call your people skills.
Yeah. So for people that are perhaps listening that do have a team, and perhaps they're struggling a little bit with their team when it comes to customer service, do you have any tips or tricks around that on how, like, there's probably two conversations. One, if they haven't got a team and they're looking to hire, and if they already have a team around them. So maybe I'll wind the clock back just a little bit and we'll talk about what if they're looking to hire? What if they're looking to bring on a new team member? They've got a particular thing, a gap in their market or in their workplace that they need to fill. Is there any particular qualities or features that they need to be looking out for when they're thinking about the roles that they want to fulfill?
Yeah, so I think it's important when you're thinking about hiring is to sit down with the pen and paper or the whiteboard and really get clear on not just what we call the technical skills of the job. So the technical skills are, okay, let's say you have a retail shop front and you go, okay, I want to hire somebody to come in so that I can perhaps have a break and someone can, be on the floor and selling for me. So the technical skills you're going to need are people that can use the FPOS machine. Maybe it's the Square Reader. Maybe it is setting up the shop, pricing, taking photos to upload on social media, using the telephone. So what we call those skills are tech skills, or another term for it is the hard skills. And hard, when we're talking about workplace, hard skills are not meaning difficult. It means that they are skills that people can learn. Once you've trained them, you can let them run free. They know how to do it and they can prove it. What I want you to think about, though, also is what are the soft skills I need my staff to have? And your soft skills are your people skills. It's about your emotional intelligence. So when you're looking to hire and when you're thinking about, how could I check what the soft skills are, you'll find all the hard skills are on the resume. All the hard skills, I've got a qualification in this, I've worked in that, I've done this. That's all the stuff that they're saying, I can prove to you and know how to do that. What I want you to do is build into your interview questions something that unearths what their passion level is like. Now, passion's a word I know that gets bandied around a lot, but I really want you to ask questions around things that are relevant to your business. So if you're in retail and you know that one of the toughest things that you have to handle is telling someone that they can't do something, telling a customer, look, I'm sorry, you're outside the return time, There's going to be a fee for that. Our prices have gone up, all that stuff that you go, okay, I know personally I find that a bit tricky. Then you want to ask a question in the interview. Tell me about a time when you've had to disappoint a customer and how did you handle that? And just a simple question like that, if you ask that of a candidate, they're going to have to either reflect on something that they've done, and you'll be able to see whether or not A, they've ever done that before, and B, how did they handle it? Well, if they just sort of towed the policy line and said, yeah, we can't do it, I have to follow policy and procedure, you're getting an insight into whether or not they are considering the customer's feelings in those types of transactions. So it's building what we call behavioural questions into your interview technique. You can do that over the phone, you can do that face-to-face. It's also having a look out for things that I like to refer to as the internal motivation to do the job. So we all want to work, we all want to get money, we all want to do something with that money. But why are they applying to work for your business? And if your business is a newsagent's, what is it about your business that they find is going to be exciting? And it may sound like you're digging into the depths of things that aren't that important, but it really is just about you starting a conversation and just see where that person goes. Now, there is no perfect customer service provider sitting out there waiting for you to hire them. There's just people who have a toolbox full of skills and experiences. Your job as the employer is to dig into that toolbox and find out what they've got, see if there's some stuff that needs sharpening, but then bring them on board and show them how you want to do it your way. The best way to find the best person is to give them a go. So weed out those that you obviously think, okay, I just don't think this is right, and then get started on providing them an induction that really sets the standard. So once you've hired, got them in, then that's when the real work begins.
Yeah, and I think there is just so much gold in that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Cate. What if you've already got a team? What if you've already got a team, but perhaps it's just not gelling? I don't even know. Is gelling a technical word? I don't know. But it's just not the team that you thought that you were creating for the business that you have. How do you go about making some changes? Obviously, well, I don't know, I'll leave it up to you as the expert to tell me, but can you do big sweeping changes, or should they be little incremental changes as you go along?
Yeah, I'm a big what would I say, loud and proud about be very careful with any changes, particularly when it's about staff that you think need to improve. So even the word change for some of our team can put the fear of God into them, and they start to resist straight away simply because they've heard the word change. So when I was talking about, when you hire, the real work starts, well, it starts on day one. So if you've already got an existing team and you felt that there's some sort of negativity, maybe there's two people not getting along, maybe they're just not as passionate as they were when they started. Can I tell you that that's actually quite common? It's super common. People can start on day one, and within 3 months you go, where's the person I interviewed? They're completely different now. What's going on? So what I say is, you cannot fix this with one conversation. You cannot fix it with one meeting, and you won't fix it by just saying, rightio, we all need to improve. What we need to do is have something consistently happening across the business that keeps that focus alive every day. So every day, whether it's a 5-minute stand-up meeting on a Monday morning, whether it is a sit-down coffee at the end of the week, the topic has to be customer service. How did we go this week? What did we do well? What could we do better? Who did something that they found was didn't work? How can we improve that? It has to be a conversation that never ends. There is no, we've won the grand final, let's stop training. And I use the football analogy a lot because it just kind of works for me. I like the footy. But you don't see a team work hard all year, get to the grand final, and then come back next year and go, well, we've already won it. We'll stay at the top. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in business when it comes to human behaviour. People need to be reminded, because your world is not their world. And that's the real thing in business. If you own the store, run the store, and you have to hire people, They don't own the store. It's not their responsibility. And to expect people to come into your team and have as much passion for it as you do, it's a big disappointment ready to happen. Sometimes you might luck out, but most times I get phone calls where people say, oh, okay, everything was going so well and I don't know what's happened, but people just seem to have lost their energy and passion. Like, they haven't lost it. It's still there. What you need to do is keep dusting it off and reminding people how important it is. So I say consistency. As an example, for my businesses, and this fits in small businesses as well. We have an online portal. It's called the Service Excellence Zone. So this is where my businesses go when they feel like everyone needs to be just a little polished, just reminded, but they don't just wait for something to go wrong. Every single month they're doing something. So they're preventative rather than looking at, oh my gosh, the wheels have fallen off. I think I need to sack people, or I think I need to discipline people. It's like, a little bit too far down the end here. Let's pull it back a bit and just get some consistency in. And consistency comes with conversations, it comes with recognition, it comes with reward, it comes with pairing people up in the workplace to look after each other. There's so many things you can do. And I'm a big, big fan of fun, keeping it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a fun workplace is good. I think some businesses, like you look at Google and things like that and think, oh, I'd like a job at Google. Like, it looks like so much fun. I'm not quite sure how they get any work done. It looks like so much fun. Kate, I had a little question here and I've been mulling over whether to answer it because I think it's too negative. And I've been trying to think how I could spin it into more of a positive, but I'm just going to ask it anyway.
Just say it.
What's the biggest mistake you see business owners making when it comes to customer service? I was trying to spin it into, what's the most...
No, that's fair call.
I think we need to deal with, what do you see that we just do wrong?
Honestly, it's taking the foot off the pedal. It's expecting that once I've hired you and you've read my standards and you've watched me in action, the expectation is that then staff will do it and do it consistently. That's the mistake. And they feel like the business owners or the managers come to me and say, I feel so let down. Like, I give them everything. I'm telling them what to do. And I'm like, well, sadly, what you're doing is trying to enforce things on people. People won't be the best they can be unless they know why they should bother. So it's about internal motivation. It's about tapping into what is it in my team that is going to make them want to come to work, leave their negativity at the door, come to work and be positive, handle difficult customers with a sense of professionalism, help each other, and just consistently do that. No one does that in any workplace long term if they're not connected with why they personally should bother. So part of the training that we do is really about motivating people to want to provide excellent service consistently, not just coming in and saying, oh, you need training because you're not providing great service. We do a lot of training around let's keep the momentum going, and sustaining it long term takes focus. So taking your foot off the ball, pulling back and just hoping the team will do it is the big mistake. And business owners often just ring up to me and they're like, but why should I have to? They're adults. Why do I have to keep reminding them how important it is?
I say that about my kids.
It's because, a lot of businesses, and look, I felt it too. This is why I have empathy for business managers, business owners, is that when I was a bank manager and I had a team, I used to go home at the end of the day and think, why are they not performing to the level that they can? What's going on? And I had to really realise that, Kate, this is not about them not wanting to do it. It's about them not recognising how much good stuff will come from them doing it. It's just about having consistency. I'm trying to think of a better way to put it, Jen. It is about making sure that the conversation never ends.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Yes. So that consistent conversations about, and is some of it about culture as well, the culture that, is actually in the workplace. Does that play a big part in the consistency?
Totally. Culture is people. People create the culture. A manager, an owner saying, we all have to provide professional service is not setting the culture. The manager or the owner has to do it and do it consistently. The manager or the owner has to recognise when their staff are doing it. It is the real leadership capacity of understanding that you are setting the tone. Every conversation that you have with your staff and the way that you have it is telling them that's the way to communicate. So if you're coming in the morning as the boss and you're not saying good morning and you're not being polite and you're not inquiring about how your team are, then that translates to the staff. That person doesn't bother. Why should I? And it doesn't matter how many standards you have or words on the wall. It's the real thing that's going on that is setting the culture. So it is all about culture. So I know with my team, we have consistent conversations about that it's okay for us to speak up when we're not feeling like something's working. And we also have lots of conversations around what's the best thing that happened to you this week, what didn't work, sharing best practices. This is how we keep it alive in my business, it is a constant conversation. And if there was anybody in my team that I thought didn't want to be involved in the conversation, then we're having a private conversation. Yeah. Because this is the culture that I expect, this is the standard that I expect, and obviously I live or die on the service I provide. I have to practice what I preach. But, you know, it's so good when you do it consistently. The good days far outweigh the bad. The good customers far outweigh the difficult. And there is really very few difficult customers when you have the skills how to handle it.
Yeah. I was just thinking, you know, a customer service business that doesn't give good customer service is like a marketer who doesn't market. really not the best thing.
Kind of like, it's like looking at someone who designs websites and you go and have a look at their website and you think, really?
Yeah. It matters. Now, full disclosure for all my beautiful listeners out there, Cate and I had the most wonderful conversation and I forgot to press record. So this is actually take 2. And I just wanted to say that because I wanted to bring you back. We were having a great conversation around your 3 Ps. And I don't know any other way to bring us back to that conversation other than to admit I am a dill that forgot to press record.
Jen, I just love that.
I really love you to explain the 3 Ps to my audience because it was a great conversation we were having.
That's all right, Jen. It's just goes to show that fun matters and not pressing record is one of the, it's just such not a big deal. But also, thanks for mentioning it because I'm talking and I'm thinking, have I said this before? It's like, yeah, I just did 2-3 minutes ago. So apologies to everyone listening. It does sound like we're both kind of a bit stuttered. But let me tell you about the 3 Ps. So I use the 3 Ps to demonstrate to business owners, team leaders, managers, to help them understand not only what we do, but to sit on the other side of the counter, so to speak, and understand what customers are assessing of a business. So just take off your business manager, business owner hat for a minute and think of yourself as a customer, so of any business. So as consumers or customers of businesses that provide either a product or a service or both, what we do is we, first of all, get out there and we find the product that we want and where it is. So if you think about somebody that wants to buy a red jumper, they jump online, they Google red jumpers in Deniliquin or red jumpers in Yarrawonga or Geelong or wherever you are, and they find providers who have red jumpers. So that's what we call the first P, which is looking for the product. And the product suitability encompasses things like the price, the location, the product, you know, do I want a jumper made of wool? Do I want a jumper made of windshield material? All of that comes under product. So that's kind of pretty standard. We as consumers go product shopping first. Once we find the product that we think we want to purchase or the service, we then look at the process to get the product or the service. So the second P is process. So the process of buying the red jumper, is it online? Is it in a shop? Can I go to the shop easily? Where is it located? If I buy it online, can I return it? And are they going to charge me to return it? And how long will it take to come in the mail? So the process with a product is all the things in place for the consumer to get the product. If it's a service, it might be how many forms do I have to fill out? Do I have to ring up and book in and speak to somebody? All of those steps are what we call the process. So again, as a consumer or a customer, you're mentally calculating how easy it is to get the product or the service through the process. The final P, the third P, stands for people. What are the skills, attitudes, and behaviours like of the people I have to interact with to take me through the process to get the product? My businesses train people in workplaces in the third P, the people skills. So we don't go in and look at your product placement. We don't look at your pricing. We don't look at your processes. We look at how the people are interacting face-to-face or over the phone so that the customers can get through the process to get the product. And we always say the easier that you make it for people to get to your products and services, the more chance you've got of them consuming it and telling people about it and coming back for more. And most of that is about the people skills. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've kind of reverse engineered the previous conversation we had, where we've kind of already talked about hiring and and your teams, having a team. So we kind of reverse engineered that third P. It was really interesting when you were talking about the 3 Ps, because I was convinced one of them was going to be price. And so I was really delighted to see that one of them wasn't price, that people aren't necessarily shopping on price. So, yeah.
No, it's interesting. And look, people will challenge me on that. And as I said, there is no one size fits all when it comes to customer service provision in your business. So your product and your process is going to be specific to your business. So, price, of course, will be something that you go, okay, well, I just sell red jumpers. And the person down the street sells the same red jumper. And I say people will pay more for the same red jumper if the service is better than the one down the street.
100% agree. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So make sure that your product is obviously something that people want. That's just business 101. Don't go into business if no one wants what you've got. If everyone wants red jumpers, then let's go make sure we make the best high quality red jumper. Then make sure that it's easy for people to get the red jumper. And anybody that interact with those customers, they have to be as high quality as the red jumper. And anything below that is not going to make your business able to charge more for your red jumper. You have to aim higher than your competition and higher with your service. If you want to put a price on it, that means that it's, I guess I look at it and I go, well, I look at clothing labels. They do it all the time. I can buy sneakers that look exactly like Nike, or I can buy Nike sneakers. Now, they're the same sneaker, but one's got a tick on it and a culture around it that is all about providing great service, knowing our products inside out, our staff are slick, all of that. So think about how good you want your red jumper to be, but make sure that it's your people that are as high quality as your red jumper. Does anyone sell red jumpers in your group?
I don't know. Maybe they're gonna.
Maybe they're gonna.
Going out getting red jumpers.
Yeah. Well, the way I feel for small business too, because I know when I started, I'm a workplace trainer. I'm up against corporate size workplace training businesses. I am a small business that provides customer service and teamwork training. If you Google that, I've got a hell of a lot of competition. But what I know they can't do is deliver the training like I do with my experience and my skills. And there is nobody that I know of that is able to deliver customer service training with the amount of passion that I've got. I've picked a training product that I love. I love frontline staff. I love helping businesses, and I want people to go to work and come home feeling awesome rather than come home and feeling like, oh my God, Groundhog Day.
Yeah, not tomorrow. I can't do it again tomorrow.
Exactly. So know your competition and then do better.
Yeah. Now, Cate, you and I are recording this at the end of March, and it would be remiss of us not to have a bit of a chat about customer service in the crisis that we're sitting in at the moment. So COVID-19, we are in crisis. We're on the edge of lockdown.
Yeah.
And as much as I didn't want to make this about that, because customer service is something we should always be working on, but customer service in times of crisis, it must look a little bit different. Do you have any tips and tricks out there for someone who's listening to this particular episode as they're heading through the crisis?
Absolutely. something that's become very clear to me, and this is what happens in downtimes in business, and I've had downtimes in my business. It's what you do is you start to really assess what you're doing, and you start to really try to understand your customers better because you want to give them help. So now is the time to help. Now is the time to think about what trouble your customer is going through and how can you help them. But I want to challenge you to keep this feeling a little bit alive. Now, this may sound a little bit controversial because we're not through it yet. So I hope that maybe when you're hearing this podcast, we're through it. That feeling that you have now during the coronavirus through, I don't know how I can help my customers, that's actually how we need to be feeling all the time. So take away the fear and keep a hold of the empathy. What's going on with my customer? What's happening to them today? What is it that I can help them with? And if you don't know, then we need to be picking up the phone and having a chat. So right now in the middle of coronavirus, what I'm doing is calling on my customers. Now I'm spacing that out. I've got customers in the building industry. I've got customers in the medical industry. So I'm not calling my medical industry customers at the moment. They're busy enough. But I am calling my building industry customers. And I'm calling, and this is the key, to sell nothing. I am calling to say, I'm here. How are you going? Is there anything I can help you out with? Please know that I'm here. I'm thinking about setting up Friday night webinar drinks so people can just come on and we can vent, and I'm here to, to listen. All of this costs me nothing but my time, but it's building rapport, it's building relationships, and it's just letting them know that I too am here, but I'm not here to sell at this time, not just right now. But when all this is over and I make some phone calls and I find out they've got a problem, that's when I'll go into the gear of rightio. What is it that I'm going to sell? What is it that I can offer? But it's all done with a level of empathy, and it is all wrapped up in great service. So keep in mind, it's so easy to know this now, but we are all literally in the same boat. We're all feeling it. Depending on what you've got to offer, your product or your service, don't forget to offer empathy and lead with empathy. Pick up the phone and just say, hi, just to let you know I'm still here, just to let you know that we're thinking of you, our business to, have a little bit of a vent or whatever, but just keep in contact. I love email at this time, especially if it's got a little video inserted into it. I'm just going to do some quick little 30-second videos to include, that will kill everyone. 30-second videos, g'day guys, it's Cate. I'm here in my home office, the cat's screaming, the lawnmower man just started up, just sharing some real life stuff to make them know that, yeah, Cate is still here. If you've got a team, let them be the people that pick up the phone and say g'day, collate all that information, just keep some notes on, how people are going. So it's about communication in this time of isolation. It's the only thing that's going to beat isolation is communication. And I'm so pleased we've got the internet.
Yes. What would we have done without the internet?
I know. I keep thinking back to, pre-internet, all of that. But just as a little inside, Jen, and again, this may come out after we've got through this, but I just think, I really do, in the bottom of my shoes, awesome stuff is happening and amazing stuff is going to happen after we're through this. I just think that there'll be such a level of relief, and there'll be such a level of, aren't we great, we did it all together, that for businesses, you need to be thinking about, hey, what am I going to do with my customers when this is done? Maybe start thinking about, are we going to have a get-together? Are we going to have a bit of an open house where everyone comes in and we have a bit of a discount offer? What is it that we're going to do when the gates are open again and we can go back to business as usual? Just start thinking about, are you going to have something to reward your customers, to thank your customers, whatever it is. I see big small town street parties. Surely that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that was exactly what just entered my head was, yes.
Yeah.
And, all those, and not trying to compare it to war times or anything like that, but those photos of them throwing their hats in the air in celebration, it's like, yeah, having that sort of thing. Definitely, great idea. I can't wait to invite you to ours.
I'll be there. Jen, I also heard, I'm in Geelong, so if anyone's wondering where I'm located, one of our local photographers here in Geelong, he's got together a group of small businesses in Geelong, and they've all offered a discount of some kind. So whether it's a takeaway business, a photography business, a retail outlet, whatever it is. So he's got together something like 60 small businesses in Geelong. He's put together a bit of I think it's just a Word document, just a PDF. And anybody who has a sale during this time gives the customer this PDF Word document with all the businesses that have got little discounts going on at the moment. So I just thought, isn't that fantastic? You know, everyone's helping everybody else out. They're only having, I think, you know, one business per PDF spreadsheet. Some businesses are offering, you know, a $50 gift voucher for $30, things like that, so that the money comes in now, but the people will come and purchase later. Takeaway businesses are doing, you know, like delivery home packs, Parmigiana and this, and throwing in bread rolls, whatever it is. So I just thought that's a great way for people to start working together and thinking about the future as well. I think the gift voucher thing's a really good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great injection of cash into a business now. And, you know, hopefully the business is sustaining it into the future when people come back to spend those vouchers. But it's a great little thing. But I just sort of, I get worried that in customer service, like I know when I had my retail shop, sometimes when there was bad things happening, that became the whole conversation in the business. So it's kind of that, you know, from a customer service point of view, from a frontline point of view, there needs to be a limit of how much we talk about what's going on, as opposed to, you know, perhaps spreading some joy as well, or some normality.
Yeah, to give you an idea, think of it like, I like to think of it as scales in a business. So if you think of a set of scales, and to keep the scales balanced, if we're going to have one negative conversation, or one conversation that, you know, whether it's coronavirus or whatever it is, in any business at any time, we need to balance that out with 5 positives. So there needs to be a proactive approach to, okay, whether it's corona or whether it's just businesses slowing down, you get what you focus on. And if you're going to focus on negative, you'll get negative. So we need to be thinking about, okay, well, what are we going to do? What are we doing? What's working? Even if it is bringing in things like, you know, let's celebrate that birthday. Let's do a high five. And it can all be virtual. It can still be over the internet at the moment. But in the workplace, your customers will feel it if the team's negative. So the team might not be saying it, but the customers will be able to sense something's not right here. These people don't seem like they're getting along. And, you know, if we want to provide great service and it has to be at the high quality of the red jumper, then we don't want people walking out feeling like they weren't welcome or all of that stuff. So you want to have 5 to 1. That's how much work it takes to override that one negative.
Yeah, and that's a great lesson for no matter, like you said, no matter what part of the journey your business is taking at the time. So, yeah, thank you. Cate, I can't thank you enough for giving up a lot of your time today for one recording that didn't work and then the real recording. But it's been a great conversation.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Jen. I could talk underwater about customer service. So anytime you want to have a chat, I'm here.
So, Cate, is there anything that you wanted to leave on, or a tip or a trick that perhaps you might have already said but wasn't press record, or anything that you just wanted to share perhaps as a last piece of wisdom that we might have missed?
Oh, look, I think the wisdom from a customer service point of view is it has to be consistent. Like I know I'm just repeating myself now, but, you know, and I love that you did ask the question, you know, what's the one thing that businesses are doing wrong or could be doing better? And it is thinking that it will just happen because you say so, or just because you've put, you know, a mission or vision statement in place. You must be acting how you want your staff to behave, and you must be also open to the fact that staff need consistently to be motivated and reminded just how important this is. So you can check out our website. There is hints and tips on there, lightbulbtraining.com.au. I have written a book called The A to Z of Service Excellence, and that's available on the website as well. So if you're looking for inspiration or ideas, please go to the website and check that out. There is a lot of free stuff on there. And anytime you want to just have a chat about this stuff, just reach out to me. Me and my team are here. My team and I. Gosh, even my grandma's gone. Oh. As soon as I said it, I heard it. So, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Cate. I will, of course, have links to all that in the show notes for anyone who wants to go and check them out there. But again, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your wisdom, and
My pleasure.
putting customer service at the forefront of our minds again.
Yeah, people helping people, that's what customer service is. So thank you, Jen.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cate. I really hope you got a lot from this episode. I promise you didn't miss out on much because I forgot to press record. All the wisdom that Cate had in the first trial or the first podcast run is definitely in the second podcast run. I guess the outtake of this interview is really quite hilarious, especially if you watch the video, which I may or may not ever put into the light of day. But you can seriously see my face start to turn green with sickness as I start to realize what I had actually done and not pressed the record button. So I guess that's always something for the bloopers reel if that is ever released into the public. But of course, that is all for episode 68. Like I said, I really hope that you got something from it. Cate is just so passionate and amazing about customer service, and it's definitely something we can all work on no matter how good or not so good we are at it. I will, of course, be back next Thursday with another great episode all about simplifying your business in 2020. If you're enjoying the podcast, which I really hope you are because you've listened this far to the end, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and maybe even share this episode with another superstar business owner who's doing the daily grind just like you and would really appreciate someone making their business life simpler. Of course, a rating and a review, they are like gold for podcasters like me, and massive love coming your way if you take the 2 minutes to do that for me. I will, of course, see you next week for episode 69. But in the meantime, let's hang out and get social on social. You'll find me at Instagram, Facebook, and my favorite, LinkedIn. But of course, remember, my small business peeps, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
Tell I can feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.